Hi, my name is James Duez. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Rainbird. We are an established intelligent automation business. We work with world-leading organizations and we have substantial partnerships. The problem we solve is that there is an unquestionable demand for automation tech. Every organization wants to improve the standard of what they're doing in terms of customer outcomes, improve efficiency, and increasingly now, particularly in the post-COVID-19 world, to create new products and services, seek new revenues. And the automation of human decision-making has become this latest frontier in intelligent automation. So we're well used to automating tasks that are simple with RPA. Rainbird is about the next generation of decision-making, about automating what traditionally would be a human process. And we're all about taking a human expert's knowledge and turning that into machine intelligence. Let's bring this alive with a real example. Meet Hillary. Hillary is an occupational health nurse who's very, very experienced. She consistently outperforms others in her department, and in fact, everybody defers to Hillary for solutions to their problems, so much so that Hillary has very little time to add strategic value to her organization. Now, if you imagine if everybody's decisions exceeded Hillary's even on her best day, but were also entirely auditable, that is, that they actually left a complete written audit trail as to why that outcome was the right outcome, and it could do this 100 times faster, that would be amazing. Well, we've done this. This is actually the typical outcome of a Rainbird project. We've been working with a number of organizations in healthcare, including many NHS trusts, as well as working with the medical schools within universities, and have created an occupational health risk assessment screening tool, which is designed to be able to screen thousands of staff in just a few minutes. We actually created this and got it clinically approved in just 8 days. It's risk assessing large numbers of people every day. And this is really important because these risk assessments are really needed, and they're needed to be repeated on a regular basis because what we know about COVID is changing, but also each individual's health is changing. And we need to be able to ensure that we have an up-to-date rolling view of the risk that people are really the risk that they're at, given their prevalence potentially to getting ill if they were to get COVID. And of course, managers in hospitals and lots of people in healthcare right now are extremely busy. It's also really important to ensure privacy for staff with this tool and reduce the chance of data being leaked. What we don't want is managers asking employees personal questions about their health. These are questions that, once they get the answer to, cannot be unheard and has the potential to lead to future discrimination claims. And we need to make sure that there is an irrefutable record of that assessment. It's important to remember that Hillary's use case, this occupational health risk assessment, is just one use case. And actually, Rainbird is a platform that's capable of being used to automate any number of use cases, actually across a wide range of organizations. So for example, there is a Rainbird model that is devising rehabilitation programs for people with musculoskeletal conditions. And Rainbird is being used in lots of areas outside of healthcare, including fraud, compliance, finance, claims, and law. Lots of other organizations are using it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the COVID-19 occupational health risk assessment tool as an example of what we've developed in Rainbird in response to COVID. Before I do that, I'm actually going to just log into the Rainbird Studio, and I'm going to show you what this system looks like, if you like, underneath the bonnet, what it looks like from inside. This is actually the Rainbird Studio interface. This is the platform that is used to create, test, and deploy solutions. And this ultimately is the encapsulation of everything that we know about COVID medical risk. And this is the brainchild of Dr. Robert Hardman, who's a leading occupational health consultant in this area. And here in the center, you can see that we have the worker in what looks a little bit like a mind map. And you can see there are other concepts. These people can have rare diseases. They could have a BMI. They have an age. Everybody has the possibility of having asthma or a biological sex or hypertension. All of these concepts are in here, and then the logic that describes the impact that these different concepts have on workers, on people, is then defined in rules. So even BMI, for example, body mass index, this is actually a mathematical formula which devises the body mass index. And all of this has been created without having to do any programming. This ultimately is a repository of knowledge, a sort of holistic map of all the factors that impact COVID risk. And because it's within this platform, it's very, very quick for us to keep this up to date. In fact, it was just updated with a number of changes in the last few days. So the way I would summarize what the Rainbird platform is, it's a technology that takes not just the logic, like you would do with a decision tree, but actually the ambiguity, the rationality, the probabilities, the certainties and weightings that are in the building blocks of little nuggets of wisdom that inform our human decisions. And when you build these knowledge maps, we call them, these graph models, which combine a description of the world, the domain of this particular tool, with all of the logic that's within there, you can connect that optionally to data. And in doing so, you have taken human expertise, you've connected it to data, and you've created machine intelligence. You've created a tool that is able to operate with the fidelity and the quality of a human, but at massive scale. And the outcome is that it increases both the quality and the speed, but it also reduces bias and noise. And the question of bias and noise is something that we can set up as a separate track to talk about, particularly how Rainbird insulates organizations from user bias, but also how it can reduce author bias, so the bias that gets encoded in the system. And critically, Rainbird provides an interpretable rationale for every decision it makes, which absolutely puts daylight between what Rainbird can do and what you can do with traditional machine learning, in that it can make a decision explainable. So it's differentiated from RPA because it's more powerful and can automate decisions, not tasks. And it is differentiated from machine learning because you don't need to be data ready. And unlike machine learning, Rainbird is readily interpretable. So I hope that all makes sense to everybody. Please do feel free to visit our website, follow us on Twitter, and do get in touch with me directly. I'll be really delighted to speak to you. And we have a whole team here that we're very keen to talk about your automation use cases. Thank you for taking the time to listen.